Welcome back to Fox Family Farm. I'm Bill, and it's good to have you aboard today. Today is our latest episode on our farm channel. I want to talk to you a little bit about this house. When we first moved here, we came up from Georgia to look at the property in October of 2016, and I didn't know much about the history or anything around this area, but we looked at the house and it seemed like it was workable for us. It was very dated, and it actually was kind of laughable in some places what we found in it, but it was fine. But the backyard really called to us, so we made an offer and got that. And so we moved up here in January of 2017, and we began to tear down the roof, the ceiling in the kitchen, and to our delight we found some beautiful things, and quickly learned that this home has been here since the 1780s. So today's episode is going to be about the 1780s house here in Monmouth, Maine, and I'll take the camera around and I'll show you some things about it. So we'll get started on our tour here today. All right, so the first place we're going to look is in the kitchen, and the kitchen ceiling was, I guess I'm going to show you this, not unlike the living room in the sense that there was 4 or 5 layers of different ceiling products on top of it, or while this way hanging down. So when we started taking off different sheets of things, it was like 4, I think, to our delight, this is what we found: the beautiful wood of an old ceiling. And we quickly learned from neighbors around here that this farmhouse was built in the 1780s following the Revolutionary War by the family of Henry Dearborn. Now you may remember Henry Dearborn. He was a captain in the Battle of Bunker Hill in Boston, and he marched with Benedict Arnold to Quebec, was captured by the British and then released, went on to be a general in the Revolutionary War. So quite a neat history. So it was the brother of Henry Dearborn, an older brother, who built this home. The Dearborns moved to Maine after the war and bought 5,000 acres. This was part of that plan then at that time, and so a number of people from their town moved here. And the town of Monmouth actually got its name from Henry Dearborn because he fought and won the Battle of Monmouth in New Jersey in the Revolutionary War, and this was named after him, or after that. So what I want to show you is this hand-hewn beam right here, one of the coolest finds we've found in the house. Imagine the effort that goes into building a beam that's 20 feet long, hand-hewn. A solid 8 by 10, maybe 8 by 8. They used mortise and tenon to connect all these with pegs. You can't see very many pegs right here, but here's one of them where they cut away part of the post to build a wall in here. Many iterations of this house have gone on. So in this beam here, you can see some vertical straight bandsaw type plating that may have been added a little bit later. And I think this is one of the more original beams here too. So what a privilege to find the neatness of this old home in Monmouth. You can see that we have removed some knob and tube because that was when electricity was put in. There's a knob that was left. These holes going through the beams were for that. There's a couple more things inside I want to show you that are representative of this time. And one of them is the dumbwaiter. This is not in use now, but it was. Of course, we just have a bit of a catch-all for light bulbs and things now. But this went up and down from the basement to the floor to the attic above. And that's pretty cool. There's also built-ins. So you see this nice built-in cabinet here. And we've made good use of that. No telling what era that was added in, but it's a pretty neat thing. And of course the drawers are here below it. Look at the nice glass in the doorknobs. Not very common anymore. These square pieces in the corners are pretty old. That's pretty neat. And around the corner is another little inset here as well for a pantry. So that's what you have with this really neat old house. And there's more to discover if we get to take off anything else. When we were pulling up floor upstairs, we found newspapers from the 1930s, and that was pretty neat. So we'll take a walk outside and go down and look in the barn for just a minute before we finish up. And the dogs are all out here talking to us. Look out, pups. Excuse us. It's finally warming up a little bit. We've had a week of pretty chilly weather since it snowed last week. You can see the things that I built are newer pallet wood, but let's get in here and look at some unique features in this barn area. All right, that right there, I forget what the name, if it's a bird's nest or crow's nest, that's a very cool feature in this barn. There's tons of wood in here that may have been added over time to try to keep it alive. And it is still working. We're glad it's been holding up this long. There's an enormous piece of wood there. See how big some of this stuff is. Sorry the barn isn't pristine, but it's in use. And what I really want to show you in the barn are some pieces of wood. Take a look at that right there. It's a 24-inch barn board floor. 24 inches. Never seen anything bigger than that for a floorboard. And there it is. It goes the entire length of this barn floor above us. And that's pretty amazing. Long way up, a long way along. So that's the 1780s Dearborn barn that we got the privilege of moving into and discovering the history of. Probably during that era when they first came here, I'm pretty sure that this land of 9 acres that we have here was wooded, and they cleared this entire field, probably 6 acres. The rock wall has huge, really huge rocks in it. You have to wonder how the ingenuity of our generations ago who were able to horse it out with levers and rope. And yeah, so that's the story of the Fox farm through the generations here. Many people have owned this property, including the Chicks, who had cows here, a dairy farm, working dairy farm at one time. One of our neighbors said she used to come over here, and she's in her 80s, and she remembered the family that had cows here and everything. And so thanks again to tuning in to Fox Family Farm. It's a privilege to talk to you. Please subscribe for more interesting videos. We'll have more coming along the pipeline here. And thanks again, and Merry Christmas, everybody.